And so the countdown begins at Marvel Stadium, all in readiness to start this two-match series between Australia and Argentina. And as Argentina kick off, immediately Australia getting a foot in to try and win possession back through Winona Heatley, who is setting up in midfield tonight. And there will be, as there is with every game, lots of assessment of who plays where and how they perform, and to run an eye over all of it is former Matilda Grace Gill. Grace, it's another fascinating opportunity to learn a bit more about the Matildas.
Well, good evening, Teo. It sure is. And early minutes important as well to see how both teams settle into their starting sides. To see us here in Australia more familiar with the setup of the Matildas, but to watch Argentina, to see this formation, which early signs suggest a 4-4-2 in this rest defence while the Matildas settle in to get their foot on the ball. But an interesting contest ahead of us.
Jamila Rankin, just her second start for the national team. The first came back in 2022. Young woman from Lismore, right on the border of New South Wales and Queensland, who now plies her trade in Germany, and it's one of the reasons that she's starting tonight. Just a third cap, but it's off the back of an excellent club season with Hoffenheim. Here's Charlie Grant. Alana Kennedy to centre-back partner Claire Hunt. Driven ball, Van Egmond. Good touch to take possession. Grant pushing forward. Quick head check from Caitlin Torpey. Plays the ball back to Grant. And now Claire Wheeler.
All right, so a bit of fun outside.
Argentina sitting deeper and deeper in defence as the Matildas enjoy a long chain of possession. Kennedy trying to drive through the middle again. Torpey sweeps onto the ball and forcing a brave slight challenge, so a throw-in level with the penalty box.
Well, testing early, the Matildas just trying to find passes through. There was one couple of moments earlier, an incisive ball from Claire Hunt through the lines. Grant
lifts in across. Clearance went sideways, but fortunately Browninger was there to clear it for Argentina. Carly Johnson, the 21-year-old. First touch in Matilda's colours as the ball runs out. It's exciting to see Johnson was in such great form in the Ninja A-League before moving to the Northern Super League, what is the Canadian League, to play for Calgary, where she already has 3 goals to her name there. So good form has very much been rewarded, not just because it's a young prospect. And here is Johnson on the ball right now. And commits a foul.
Well, it's a huge game, a huge opportunity for Carly Johnson, and a very big congratulations to her as well on the Matilda's debut on home soil, no less. But it's a different beast, club football into international football. Argentina starting aggressively, not allowing the Matildas players any time or space on the ball.
Australia want to hunt the ball when Argentina are going to play it out very slowly, and turnover is forced almost immediately. Wheeler, the player who affected it. And now drops deep to help out the defence as they look for a way to play forward here. Grant cuts inside. Wheeler. Argentina's defence and midfield shuffled across to meet that Australia attack, make the pitch as crowded as possible. Australia just looking for gaps, looking for breathing room at the moment. Grant once more. Wheeler made a darting run. Follow up from Torpey. Couldn't quite take clean possession of the ball. Dominguez wins a throw in for Argentina.
You can see the moments as well. Argentina are just nipping out of their lines.
And then Portanova, Argentina coach. already very busy and active in his technical area, while Tom Substitution stands arms folded in the opposite box. A couple of words of encouragement there. Game 150 tonight for the interim head coach in his third stint in the job, Tom Substitution.
We've seen some pretty incredible times, overseen early Matildas days, some of the greats that have pulled on the green and gold. Now to come back and see the state the game is in, sold out stadiums in Australia.
Great run from Johnson on the end of Rankin's pass. Johnson in behind, and the cut across to McNamara is scooped over the bar. Holly McNamara still looking for her first goal in Matilda's colours, but a neat link up there between the two young guns.
Yeah, that's sharp from Carly Johnson. She picks out this pass. 3 players standing in the way, but she finds the moment in between, and Holly McNamara arrives on the spot. It's a really slick bit of play by Carly Johnson.
Heatley here with a back pass to Tegan Micah, who's been a spectator so far, the Australia goalkeeper. Quick to keep the ball moving. Winona Heatley. Now Van Egmond making space on the right, but has to retreat. Kennedy. First touch open to the game up. Heatley completely at home, playing at centre-back as well. A position we became used to seeing her in the A-League before moving overseas. Denmark now, where she's plying her trade. And a long ball from Claire Hunt. Carly Johnson is the player Australia are looking for in the opening exchanges. Johnson with energy, bursting onto the ball. And the cross went through the penalty area. It's going to be recycled by Torpy and Grant, and it's short-lived, but Australia will get the ball back. And well, if you hadn't seen Carly Johnson play before tonight, Tom Substitution described her as an old-fashioned footballer that loves to take the game on, and we got an example right there. Argentina going to build their first attack of the night. No, they're going to go backwards.
Well, it's really promising signs from Carly Johnson. You love to see that as well. A player willing to take opposition on. She's powerful, and we've seen that in the domestic league in Australia. But for her to put that out on the international stage, take her players on, back herself, love to see that confidence coming through.
Well, she did play just the 5 games for Sydney FC in the 2021-22 season as a teenager, but it was enough for Western United to commit to a full contract. And she meant it in equal measure to move down to Melbourne, so making her international debut in her home away from home, having played for Western United for the last few seasons. Now Australia, having sized up this Argentina defence, can continue asking some stern questions. Rankin with a longer range cross this time, and caught and brought to ground by Avi Chavez, the goalkeeper.
I really like that from Rankin on that occasion. We've seen the last few passages the Matildas try to drive into closer to the 18-yard box, find a delivery on the ground. That one, the early cross from Jamila Rankin, just testing out the goalkeeper Chavez. And this is what the Matildas are going to need tonight with most of the possession, is diversity in the way that they approach that final third. Finding the creativity, picking the right moments to go.
Argentina players all looked at the ball. Eventually Preininger sent a pass out to the right side of defence. Cometti, first time ball, a little ambitious. But now, finally, a few passes not immediately under pressure. Argentina not really getting to enjoy the ball for very long. An aerial exchange back and forth. Torpy's flick inside. Van Egmond, Heatley. Claire Hunt. Saw the raised arms from Torpy and sent a diagonal ball. Torpy from a standing start. Grant. Kennedy steps into midfield. Kennedy attempting to thread through Torpy, but first go at it is cleared. Van Egmond. Now Australia with another chance. Van Egmond. Torpy flicks it back to Van Egmond, and now Grant advancing onto the ball. And that appeared to be last touch of Australia, and indeed it is, out for a goal kick.
Past the final delivery from Emily Van Egmond, just a little narrow to meet the run of Charlie Grant, who'd gotten forward really well. Just didn't provide the space that Grant needed to get on the end of that pass.
Australia trying to trap Argentina in the defensive half, but a throw in here will allow the visitors to advance up the pitch ever so slightly. A back pass, 1 segundo. Switch of flanks, with no change in fortunes for Argentina, looking to connect passes beyond the defensive third of the pitch at the moment. Tegan Micah very comfortably watching the game unfold in front of her. Johnson in for the 50-50, it deflects kindly. Grant set away. Can Charlie Grant exploit some open space here? Torpy on the outside, Grant looking inside. McNamara, oh, the height of ambition, trying to volley it on over the shoulder, facing away from goal, but Australia are at least able to open some space.
Yeah, that's clever once more from Charlie Grant. Driving into space. She had the option out wide of Caitlin Torpy, but waited just long enough to see the run. Holly McNamara working her way across Argentina's defensive line. Not a bad opportunity.
34th cap tonight for the South Australian Grant. It's incredible. The Grant announcers pre-game were asking young fans who their favourite player is. So many of them choose the Australia number 22. She's made a bright start to this game. Argentina, meanwhile, it's a test of concentration. McNamara wins a little physical duel, cuts it back, Torpy. And as it goes through the penalty area in between both Rankin and Johnson, neither of them able to make a meaningful play at the ball. Cleared to a brief moment of safety by Jimenez, but Australia straight back in possession. High hopeful ball, and this one will be dealt with. The follow-up, Grant. Kept a boot in, McNamara, shoulder to shoulder. And the referee, Pansachasanit of Thailand, says it's enough for a foul, and McNamara is not afraid to use her physicality.
Well, great strength shown on the ball, McNamara on that occasion. Just a little early to the contest, but we saw moments earlier as well, really good. Incredible strength shown by Holly McNamara to turn, find a pass. And
well, Argentina their own worst enemy here. An errant touch, and when it's the captain, that just amplifies the frustration. Out for a corner kick, Australia's first of the game.
Well, some years ago, but the last time the Matildas played Argentina, they won 3-0. All three of those goals came from set pieces, 2 corners and a penalty kick. So this works to the Matildas' advantage, set pieces.
It's the left foot of Jamila Rankin that has crossed the pitch to take this first corner. Rankin, it's allowed to fall in the penalty area, pile up of bodies. What can Argentina construct on the counter-attack? Ball through the left. Pereira. Australia able to reset their midfield and defence behind the ball, trying to slow everything down. Cometti. See, as players reorganise after the corner, Rankin had to step in at right back. Grant at centre back. They'll go and re-find their original positions at the end of this phase of play. Can Argentina capitalise with a few players taking up different roles? Not quite. Wheeler. As many numbers as Argentina have committed forward all game. This might be their moment. And an ambitious shot goes high over the bar from Bonsegundo.
She's been lively in the opening passages, Bonsegundo. And that an important moment for the Matildas as well, recovering quickly from a corner, the transition from Argentina, and they're largely going to be relying on those moments.
And so off the back of Argentina's first shot in anger, let's check in down at ground level with Michael Zappone. Zappers, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Teo. Fantastic atmosphere down here. As you said, a huge crowd. Almost 40,000 expected tonight. Every time the Matildas go forward, you can hear the screams from the girls in the crowd. So many young girls outside I met earlier who are playing their club football tomorrow and on Sunday morning, but they don't care. They want to be here to watch the Tillies. Just really interesting to look at Holly McNamara. She's had a couple of half chances early on. You almost feel the weight of expectation on her shoulders, wanting to break her duck. It's her 8th cap tonight. Of course, she's been in great form in the domestic competition, scoring 15 goals. We'd love for her to score that goal tonight, and that'll give her the freedom to play with a smile on her face as well.
Thank you, Zappers. We'll keep checking in as the night goes on. And Grace, safe to say, Argentina have had their best 2 minutes of the game so far.
Yeah, really absorbed a lot from the Matildas in this opening 15 minutes. They've just got their foot on the ball in the last couple, and that counter-attack, Rodriguez did well to slow down play and keep possession. I do think that it will largely be in those transitional moments that Argentina are going to look for.
Smart from Heatley, able to turn away from the marker and play the ball to Wheeler in midfield, and now Australia trying to advance, but that's a giveaway from Rankin. So a brief window of opportunity for Argentina. Torpy came across to short circuit it all. And the ball ricochets down to Chavez. Stabile. A neat little flick pass. And now sponsor Gundo to advance and appeals for offside, and those really hurt. Shamila Rodriguez there getting caught offside, even though Argentina weren't that advanced into their attacking half.
Well, she's shaking her head, but it's the right call by the assistant referee. She just hasn't caught the positioning right, and she can see across the line as well. Perhaps a little frustrated at herself as well.
13 goals for Rodriguez in 54, now 55 international matches, so one of the hopes for Argentina to find the back of the net tonight. Heatley is really starting to take over the midfield. Lead to the Australia number 3 at the moment, trying to find a solution to this compact Argentina midfield and defence. Grant down the right sideline. Torpy able to skip the ball along, and the throwing decision goes Argentina's way.
It's a great point about Winnie Heatley, Taylor. You'd hardly know that tonight's just her 8th appearance. She plays with the composure of a player that has played many more in international games.
Torpy, now McNamara on a tight angle. And the challenge comes in to send the ball behind for the second corner of the night. Argentina certainly disagree. Brown particularly vocal about it, but Australia have another set piece.
That's a good tackle from Sophia Brown. She had to get the timing right. Holly McNamara is so powerful off that first step. It's a well-timed challenge.
So Rankin's first corner was allowed to bounce in the penalty area after everyone missed it in the air. How is take 2? Rankin over the head of Van Egmond. The follow-up, Torpy straight into the traffic. Tries to free the feet. Van Egmond. Rankin. Another ball in. And the header is wide at the near post. Well wide in the end from Claire Hunt. Looking for her second international goal, but that one not close to troubling the goalkeeper.
Having some words afterwards as well. And this is a nicely hit cross by Jamila Rankin on that left foot. Just evades the first defender. Claire Hunt is first to arrive in front of her defender.
Rankin always very highly rated as she came through the Ninja A-League at the Brisbane Roar, particularly because of her left-footedness and also versatility to play at both centre-back and also left-back. Her international debut some 3 years ago now in 2022 was the infamous 7-0 defeat away in Spain. He had to wait a long time for cap number 2, but has looked right at home so far in cap number 3. Here's Torpy, linking up effectively with McNamara. Swings across into a nest of Argentina players, but they've still got to sort it out here, and they've coughed up possession, and the volley from Heatley was ambitious. Over the bar in the end.
Well, 20 minutes have ticked by, and certainly it's the Matildas in control of the game. This was always going to be the challenge for the Australian side, breaking down a compact Argentina defence, finding a way through, picking their moments, and they've had little half chances.
Due to injury, McNamara and Torpy were teammates for short spells when they were at Melbourne City together. You can see the link up between the two hasn't gone away now that Torpy's playing in the United States. McNamara, the reigning Golden Boot winner in Australia. But a little giveaway here from Hunt means that Argentina can get a little bolder about attacking. Or can they? Not quite. That pass leaves all 11 Australian players behind the ball. Maybe as the game goes on, Grace, if Argentina get presented little opportunities like that, they'll show a bit more dare, but could I suggest that perhaps the 21-minute mark is a little too early tonight to commit too many numbers for?
Well, plenty of football to be played yet. In their last international match, Argentina defeated Canada 1-0. That took until the second half. It was a bit of a difficult physical game. Canada arguably should have found a way through, but it was the one goal separating the result.
Now a long ball, which Rankin has to read in the air. He's left Johnson with the task. The winger coming back to help out. Argentina keep possession. Just drifting in midfield at the moment. Praninger. Now Cometti. Johnson applying a bit of heat now. Australia have seen enough of Argentina stroking the ball around their defensive four. Had a brief window of opportunity there, but Bonsegundo clips it well beyond the running range of Rodriguez.
Much to the frustration of Rodriguez as well. Wasteful by Argentina. And after a little passage of possession, they looked comfortable. Turn into defence again, having to sit back into that shape.
Van Egmond. Samani's seen enough to come walking up to the edge of his technical area. You see Emily Van Egmond there at the base of your screen, having a quick dialogue with the Matildas gaffer.
This looks a little frustrated conversation as well. But we'll see what communication Samani has passed on to Van Egmond as she runs back into the centre of the field.
Some of the Australia substitutes, including the Arsenal trio. Kyra Cooney-Cross knows whenever the camera's on her, she just can't keep a bluff going, can she?
Despite best efforts.
Of course, Cooney-Cross spent quite a bit of her upbringing in Victoria, Ballarat and also Torquay, so this is a home game of sorts for her. Enough to reach a foul call in midfield. Pereira having to retreat in the end after harassing Wheeler just a little too much. Grant doubles back, Kennedy. Kennedy feeds the ball to Grant, who made space this time, and in that open space swings a ball into the box. Flag is up. Carly Johnson, the eyes would have lit up it as a potential shooting chance, but it was short-lived.
Well, that play opened up really nicely. Yet again, Charlie Grant Again, the right call from the assistant referee. Johnson just not quite disciplined enough, running off the shoulder. Her run arriving a little early, runs into an offside position. But again, little moments, little chances for the Matildas starting to build.
As we saw there, good call from the assistant referee on the near side, Alice Clipsham of New Zealand. Grant sets McNamara away. McNamara, legs, cleanly. Argentina popping back up with the ball. Bonsegunda. We haven't seen that much so far tonight. Holly McNamara able to really break at speed into open space.
This is where the Matildas need to draw the ball back out, retreat a little to form that space in behind. Players like McNamara, like Johnson, love to stride into open space. But as Argentina sit back in and just retreat, it reduces that space in behind.
Grant's header. This time brings it to ground, hard against the line. Torpy keeping it in, and successfully so. Torpy, 7 games so far at the Portland Thorns, her second stop in the NWSL in the United States. Hoping to build that game time and maintain her spot as a starting 11 player for the Matildas. And here she is now, applying a bit of physicality, but illegally according to the referee, and we haven't seen this so far. An attacking half set piece for Argentina.
Well, it was a game against Canada for Argentina where they gave away a lot of fouls, a lot of free kicks. Not many fall in to their advantage, but this will be interesting to see how they set up what kind of delivery. They try and send in plenty of space, and it's a long way out.
And Shamila Rodriguez is set up well offside. Is going to try to dart back into an onside position right as the free kick is taken. Not taken to the advantage of any Argentina players, and the counter-attack could be on. Torpy flicks it past one, can't get past a second. Preininger impacted, went to ground. Argentina come up with the ball. Just when it looked like Torpy and McNamara might be able to break away.
Credit to Argentina on that occasion. Just getting the ball settled back down, sitting back into their shape nice and quickly.
If they can win a free kick, you'd think at 10 to 15 metres closer to goal or their first corner, you do wonder what's possible for Argentina. Australia win possession here. Carly Johnson. A really good slide challenge came in at the last second from Cometi. Johnson is threatening. She is a presence in that forward line for Australia.
You could hear the crowd rise with that run. It was clever from Johnson, and she had to delay a little bit, slow her step down. And that's the experience of Aldana Cometi, the captain, most experienced player on the park for Argentina. Really good interception.
Johnson has been to an under-20 World Cup, has represented Australia at under-20 and under-23 level, but it's a different story when it's the senior Matildas. The goal-scoring instincts, though, they seem well honed. Can she get herself on the end of a big chance? Van Egmond, Wheeler making a darting run through midfield. Van Egmond met it to the centimetre, and now out to Johnson, who's had to retrieve the ball from the corner. Grant. And the back pass gives possession away. Argentina, can they counter-attack in a flash? There's only Rodriguez ahead of the ball, and so they had to hold play up. They just don't seem like a team set up to capitalise on such a pass like that one. It was a little gift from Grant, but Argentina not really with players in a position to break forward and try to cash it.
You heard the cry of frustration from Charlie Grant. The moment she hit it, she knew it was a miss-hit. After seconds earlier on the dime, Van Egmond picks out a really productive run from Claire Wheeler.
Just a reminder, though, that protecting the ball and keeping possession is so important. Heatley here doing everything to maintain body position over the ball in spite of the very close attention from Maricel Pereira. She's come up for a couple of fouls now. So you mentioned that foul count from the previous game against Canada, Grace. They're smart at fouling when necessary, Argentina. Nothing overt, nothing that might capture the attention off the referee in terms of a card.
I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of it as the game wears on. That game, referenced it a couple of times already, but against Canada, Argentina fouled the Canadians 23 times, received 5 yellow cards, came away with the win.
30 minutes, but this one is a slow burn. There have been brief sparks for Australia. Now it's Australia's turn to commit a foul. Claire Wheeler coming off the back of an excellent club season with Everton, 19 appearances in the Women's Super League. And a lot of them having to battle for the ball just like this.
Bonsegundo has been one of the most lively from Argentina in this opening 30 minutes. Involved in everything. Argentina have looked to go forward.
It's Bonsegundo again, but this time backwards is the call. Cometti looked up at Brown and decides the goalkeeper, Chavez, is the better option. Still plenty of time before the interval, Grace, so let me know anything different you'd like to see from what we've had in the first half an hour. As we see Wheeler here able to win the ball back high up the pitch. Johnson, and the ball deflects out. Might have arrived already, perhaps a winger swap here for Australia. We'll wait and see if Carly Johnson returns to the left or not after a little bit of concern here for Praninga, who is down favouring an ankle.
It's really just finding the quality in the final third for the Matildas. I've mentioned it's not been 30 or so minutes without its chances. Little half looks, Holly McNamara, Carly Johnson, just threatening. It's about those efficiencies and making the most of just those little half chances.
Wheeler straight back to work, attempting to win the ball in the rough and tumble. Van Egmond, similar. Rodriguez came off worse for wear, but seemingly the one interfering with Van Egmond. Now Johnson trying to use her strength. She's wrestled to the ground. It's just like the heat has gone up a few degrees in the last minute or so. The battle's becoming that little bit more fierce. Heatley's crossfield ball. Bonsegundo takes possession for Argentina. Can they hit on the counter? Pereira out to the right, and now they're moving, but not very far because Rankin comes across to clear. The advance of Margarita Jimenez, able to drive Argentina much further forward than this throw-in. Van Egmond protesting innocence, but it's a free kick as close to the penalty area as we've seen so far for Argentina.
Well, they're moving pretty quickly to send some good numbers forward. Just leaving 2 defenders back for a bit of cover. Otherwise, all Matildas players lined up along that 18-yard box, and a little bundle of Argentina players at that far post.
Stabile and also Dominguez, the 2 options over this free kick. Stabile taking it left-footed, slipped through the right side, and Claire Wheeler very diligently keeping the ball away from Jimenez there, who was trying to advance.
Don't mind that at all from Argentina. A little set play straight from the training ground. And you wonder as well, with the Matildas definitely having that aerial advantage, the likes of Alana Kennedy, Claire Hunt, rising above to win headers in those congested areas, that little set piece along the ground, not a bad way to go.
Jimenez down in the corner, as far as Rankin, who is guarding that left side of defence so well. Argentina reset. Cometti, players drifting back into position in midfield. Cometti trying to cut through them. Bonsegundo, Jimenez, a quick 1-2. Can't reconnect because Heatley is there, and even under pressure, not only Heatley has done well to win a goal kick, but again, Argentina, they absorb, and then we've seen it twice now, 15 minutes of really seeing what Australia have got, and then they have a slight little bit more dare and adventure as they try to probe forward.
a bit more dare, a bit more adventure, and a bit more of the ball. That opening 15 or 20 minutes, it was all in the Matildas' hands as the games wore on, levelling out to more even possession rates.
And the more confident Argentina get, the more gaps it might leave for Australia to exploit themselves. Chavez here, starting a new build for Argentina. Brown. Jimenez, a little bit difficult. Argentina having to retreat. Johnson. The spin on the ball was hopeful and he coughs up possession. Argentina trying to build. Rodriguez moved off the ball efficiently. Wheeler directing traffic, and Heatley now able to break back and use Claire Hunt, and now Kennedy, and Australia trying to keep the ball speed high. Kennedy. Ran out of ideas. Prodded it on at the very last to Grant. Out of a tangle of legs. Kennedy has Wheeler, and she has Tegan Micah.
Just little frustrations bubbling under the surface. Charlie Grant was looking for the foul. Did have her leg grabbed onto as well. No foul forthcoming. A couple of important interventions. Alana Kennedy prodded one out of a dangerous area. Hasn't been entirely settled for the Matildas in the last few minutes.
Wheeler to Duress, kept the ball moving. Argentina coming back in the other direction. Rodriguez, short-lived. Torby chasing, Cometti. Not the most powerful back pass. McNamara makes a presence, Torby, and Chavez eventually collapses onto the ball. Slightly more hair-raising defending from Argentina, but it ends up in the goalkeeper's gloves.
Argentina had to get that one right. The pass back was just hit a little softly. The on-rushing pressure of Caitlin Torpy. And the Matildas still wanting a high line here, only now that Chavez, the Argentinian goalkeeper, looks to send it long to the Matildas' retreat.
It will settle the nerves for Chavez. 27-year-old playing in Chile. Here's Grant. Still Grant. In the end, crosses it in for Johnson! Carly Johnson on international debut! The cutting edge the Matildas needed. And it is 21-year-old Carly Johnson breaking through to make it Australia 1, Argentina 0.
Well, Matilda's debuts don't get much sweeter than that. A huge moment for Carly Johnson. The very first time wearing the green and gold, and she finds the back of the net. It had been testing for a while, and this ball, once or twice before, Charlie Grant does really well. Holds onto the delivery for just long enough, and watch this run off the shoulder of her defender, arriving at the far post. And it's softly placed back to where it came from. Carly Johnson etches her name into Matilda's goal scoring, and what an important finish that is.
Doesn't matter whether it's Manly United, Western United, the Calgary Wild, or even the Matildas, Carly Johnson is a goal scorer. And she finds the goal that Australia hoping for, maybe to play with a little bit more freedom now. The run of Charlie Grant off the boot from the angle we were on, it looked like it might have been an attempt at a shot, but in the end it was a very well placed cross.
Well, she looked and waited. There was numbers, and Carly Johnson just pulled away from her defender. Gave herself enough space to then arrive, and the delivery was pinpoint from Charlie Grant, it's got to be said. Lovely assist from the fullback. And they tried time again. That one they got right. And that one the Matildas needed to release the pressure valve pressure starting to build as the game wore on. Over the 30-minute mark, finding moments but not finding the cutting edge.
Straight back into the thick of the action. Johnson trying to win possession here. That's a pretty good case that she may have been taken to ground by Jimenez, but Argentina have possession. Stabile. Is mistaken in trying to take this throw, and it will be Argentina's ball with 5 minutes of regulation until halftime.
Just the one single shot on target across the course of the game so far, and it's the one that's found its way into the back of the net.
Torby, Australia trying to use a bit of momentum while the adrenaline is pumping. McNamara was very closely guarded. Ball runs out for an Australia throw. McNamara back to goal. Trying to leave it with Torby, not to be. Dominguez. Down in the left back corner. Argentina fairly clear as far as Kennedy. Wheeler turns, proactive going forward. McNamara, smooth 1-2. McNamara is legged. Play continues. Johnson, is she on for a second? Not quite. Van Egmond wheels back around. Plays the ball to Heatley. Heatley has to take a quick sidestep. Australia with so many numbers forward. Grant can't find a cross this time. Has to square the ball. Heatley, a scooped pass. Torpy. Feels like Argentina are clinging on at the moment as Torpy can face the penalty area. Legs legally right at the last second. Dominguez came in from the blind side and just knocked Torpy off the ball as she wound up to shoot. Argentina go backwards again. And now they finally have a player with a bit of time and space on the ball. It was an exciting minute or so, but Australia just couldn't find the right shot to take it goal.
And the ball hasn't gone out since, but there was a really sharp passage of play by the Matildas. A little give and go, nice tidy passing in around the edge of the 18-yard box. And that was better.
Pass could be awkward here on the bounce. Got the feet right to keep it away from McNamara. Cometti, long ball, a slip, and now it's a one-on-one, and Claire Hunt's able to keep her balance and keep the ball away from Bonsegundo. Johnson, the Australia goal scorer, ends it with Rankin. Tucked back into midfield for Heatley. Heatley wheeling and dealing and doing very nicely on the ball. Show their appreciation for it. As Kennedy weighs up the options and returns the ball to Winona Heatley. Now Claire Wheeler. Johnson takes possession. Carly Johnson, a deflected cross. And Wheeler wins the throw-in. Minute of regulation to go in the first half here at Marvel Stadium. And Australia now playing with noticeable confidence, having taken the lead. Grant off and running. Pass. Rankin getting forward to support the attack. Jamila Rankin back to Carly Johnson. Torpy was leading the line. Asked the referee about a little bit of contact there as the ball flashed straight through to the keeper. Not much to it. As Chavez holds on to the ball, there will be 1 additional minute to end the first half.
It'll be a minute that Argentina want to see out, get into the sheds, have a quick conversation. That goal has certainly taken a little bit of zest out of their side. Matildas looking a much more comfortable outfit.
Of course, with a short turnaround to the next match on Monday, it will be fascinating to see how many changes Tom Sermanni makes tonight, what minute plans some of the players could be on. He's got a smile on his face, does the Matildas interim coach. Some of the big guns looking pretty comfortable on the bench as well. McNamara. The throw-in is Argentina, so this might be last rites for the first half here, where Australia's flashes of inspiration eventually did lead to the opening goal. It's left Argentina with plenty to ponder during half-time. Will we see them take on the game a little more and be a bit braver in chasing an equaliser? That's to come. We will find out. But for now, it's all about a goal on debut for Carly Johnson in Marvel Stadium. Look at the smile, makes its appreciation known. What a great feeling. First game for the Matildas, first goal for the Matildas, and they will be celebrating on the northern beaches in Sydney because one of their own has Australia in front at half-time. Australia 1, Argentina 0. Both teams back out onto the surface at Marvel Stadium at the start of the second half. The Matildas with a 1-0 lead against Argentina, and it's been a sensational first 45 minutes for Carly Johnson in the green and gold. And as things stand, it appears as though Australia aren't readying any half-time subs, but Argentina, will they come out with some new, brighter ideas to try and up their shot count and build the pressure on Australia? There's Tom Sermanni, the National Under-17 girls coach Mike Cooper sitting next to him, and the Western United coach Kat Smith in the next chair down. Great first half from Charlotte Grant. And for the Argentina coach, Herman Portanova, he's got plenty to ponder about his team, trying to make an impact in this 2-game series. They do have the Copa America not too far away in July, and should they go to the final, August. Promising first half from Jamila Rankin as the whistle goes to get the second half underway. Winona Heatley sends the ball out to the right, and Australia on the attack from kickoff, but Holly McNamara is outpointed. And so a brisk first 10 seconds as Australia take kickoff. And now again trying to venture forward. Argentina trying to clear their lines, not convincingly so initially. Rodriguez, and now Praninger. And a chance to steady. Grace Gill, welcome back to the commentary box for the second half. It's going to be fascinating to see which direction both teams go with their selections and substitute plans.
Well, thanks, Teo. And it is an important few minutes in the opening part of this second half for the Matildas. They'll want to pick up where they left off. They certainly had all the momentum following that Carly Johnson goal. And now to build on that, just find that little bit of quality perhaps lacking in the first half. Chances, but nothing overly meaningful. Interesting to see what changes as the second half wears on.
Grant sees Wheeler. Van Egmond and Wheeler as Australia own the ball. Claire Hunt. Johnson made a run central. Rankin on the left. It's a promising run from Rankin. Can she wrap that left foot round the ball? And the cross is intercepted. Only shallow though. Johnson put it down as a shot on target, but not moving fast enough to trouble Chavez in goal.
Well, again, that move started with Carly Johnson, finished with Carly Johnson. It was her movement, searching for the ball, asking for it, received it in the middle of the park and found the release pass out to Jamila Rankin. The play ended with the shot from Johnson as well. Didn't quite get the purchase behind the strike that she would have liked. But understandably, the player thriving with a bit of confidence after finding that goal.
Kennedy's clearance here is sliced out for an Argentina throw. Rodriguez trying to advance the ball. Kennedy does well in the air. Rodriguez collapsed to the ground. Didn't do enough to convince the referee of a foul, though. So Australia have possession. Wheeler taking it quickly. Tegan Micah, number 23 tonight, for the free agent, whose future will be of great fascination at club level, having finished up with Liverpool, drawn out of the penalty area here, and clearing very effectively. Rankin with a header on. Johnson can go and chase. Does get to the ball first. Carly Johnson turns inside, turns into trouble. Heatley and Wheeler. Grant. A little passing triangle from Australia. Wheeler to Grant. And across a shallow one, cleared initially. Wheeler there again, can't quite stick a foot on the ball this time. Up comes Hunt. And Australia have Argentina pinned in their defensive half. Kennedy. Down by McNamara. Torpy. Johnson wants to roll onto the left side. And the oohs and ahs around Marvel Stadium. And fans of the Ninja A-League would have seen Carly Johnson shoot from that range so many times in her career. Unfortunately, just couldn't put it in the net.
Well, there's a couple of things about that passage. Finishing with what was a really good shot. Good strength again shown on the ball. The turn from Johnson. She knew exactly what she was aiming to do. But a mention as well of the lead-up passage of play from the Matildas, and that's what we need to see more of. The sharp passing, the little one-touch passes completely cut through Argentina's defence. Good movement, good ball speed.
Feels like Australia might be building to a second goal. The half-time break came at a good time for Argentina, but they haven't seemingly been able to break the Matildas' momentum coming back out of the rooms. Hunt put Wheeler into a spotted bother. Van Egmond is going to clean things up. Well, illegally, according to the referee, a grab on the shirt of Pereira gives away the foul.
Van Egmond looking a little bewildered, and I don't blame her. Didn't seem to be too much given in that little exchange, but turn of events and the free kick appears to be going the way of the Matildas.
Well described there, Grace. There was confusion all around, but the ball is now live at the feet of Heatley. Sends it out to Rankin. Jamila Rankin. Bit of a blind pass in the end. Presented the ball. The referee's got to take evasive action here. Wheeler crashes through, but as far as Brown. Rodriguez competing, as is Heatley. Heatley able to run along the halfway line and then send the ball to Kennedy. Grant. Long cross from deep. By Brown. Pereira. Segundo trying to re-engage with the game as one of the brightest sparks of the first half for Argentina. Argentina just not able to string enough passes together in dangerous territory. That halftime stat that we saw was very interesting, Grace, 52% to 48, but where Argentina have possessed the ball has at times been completely unthreatening to Australia.
Yeah, largely in their own defensive half. The Matildas building into their attacking half where they're having a little bit more control.
Grant. Now Torpy. It's going to be a corner kick out of Aldana Cometi.
First time cross from Caitlin Torpy was the right idea as well. Cometi, who has been one of the busier of the defenders for Argentina. But the thumbs up from Torpy, it's appreciated. And again, a set piece, the in-swinger off the boot of Jamila Rankin has looked good all night.
All three of Australia's corners have favoured the left foot of Jamila Rankin. Will this one be right on the money? Kennedy waits near the penalty spot. He's one of the tall targets. Rankin. Kennedy goes to ground. And first to chase back and retrieve the ball will be Grant. Well, difficult pass to bring to ground, but very nicely done. Rankin. Shows composure and confidence. The return ball is there to be won. Grant. Torpy. McNamara. Darting through the left. Claire Hunt. Centre back. Moonlighting as a left winger. How's the cross? Hunt swings it in. Confusion in the Argentina defence. And the whistle goes. The whistle goes at the feet of Van Egmond at the top of the box, because Chavez and Kennedy wiped each other out.
Well, Kennedy, he's no stranger to these mid-air collisions. And it's a good cross in the end by Claire Hunt. But just as Chavez has cleared or attempted to clear, Kennedy's come through and they've clattered together as they've gone to ground. In the end, what was a good defensive clearance off the head of Praninga.
So concern, appropriately so, for Abi Chavez on her international debut. And Argentina do have the unfortunate situation of only having brought two goalkeepers on this tour, with Solana Pereira out suspended and not able to take a seat on the bench. Do wonder if Roman Portanova is discussing which outfielder would have to go in goal if his only goalkeeper available tonight can't continue.
I really hope for Chavez she's able to do so. The red card that Solana Pereira received against Canada came in the 77th minute. Makes her unavailable to play tonight and leaves the goalkeeping stocks a little shallow on the Argentinian bench.
Well, it would be a very unexpected twist. Carly Johnson has the only goal of the game so far, and if you've joined us during the second half, let's take another look at it, Grace. Charlotte Grant with the assist.
Yeah, lovely ball in the end from Charlie Grant. Pinpoint to find Carly Johnson. The run coming through at the far post. Shades, the slightest shades of offside, but nonetheless, what was a really coolly taken header back from where it came. And in the very first appearance for country. The celebrations say it all, really special moment.
And the good news for Argentina is Chavez is back up and standing. There might be activity on the bench with regards to subbing some outfielders though. Romina Nunez, one of Argentina's two players that scored at the 2023 World Cup, and also Paulina Gramalia are both being readied. We've got a bit of diplomacy going on here. Van Egmond is perhaps right to say, I was free at the top of the box, about to shoot. I think Argentina is saying we want the drop ball for ourselves. I think, which way are they going to go here? Who's won the argument? With the Thai referee, Hansa Chasanat, the adjudicator. It seems as though Australia gets the drop ball. So they've sportingly given possession back to Argentina.
Some goodwill shown there by Van Egmond. But the pressure still camped in the Matildas' attacking half, and they take their foot off the pedal at this point.
So a little break in momentum. Argentina, as you see there, have two subs waiting in the wings. Australia would love nothing more than to welcome them onto Marvel Stadium by doubling Argentina's deficit. Kennedy. Very tough for Torpy to try and keep that in play. And so this will prompt the double change. It's Margarita Jimenez who's making way as the first change. also Shamila Rodriguez, who is coming off as well. So some new faces into the game. Romina Nunez scored against South Africa in Dunedin in the World Cup, her only international goal as well. She runs on here, she'd have to add to that tally. And as we see Rodriguez make way, Darlena Gramalia plays in Brazil at Red Bull Bragantino, yet to score for her country in 17 caps now, the 22.
Fresh legs. Argentina the first to move with changes. A little over 30 minutes to play of this game. I understand the need for a little bit more from the Argentinians. They need a response. They haven't yet been able to produce too much in their own attacking half.
Australia do not want the game to fall into a flat spell. They were the side firmly on top before the delay with the Chavez injury, and then the ensuing double sub just made the game a little start-stop. They want to get things back in full flow. Blocked by Kennedy, Grant. Kennedy. Wheeler. On the ball. Wheeler. This return pass coming from Torpy. Claire Wheeler. McNamara just caught behind Brown. Bit of slip. Brown's Grant through. Wheeler was in a 1-on-3. Safety in Kennedy, and now a bit more space to distribute from midfield. Promising ball, Rankin doing everything to keep it in. And a robust slide challenge, which was coming in from Girone. Kept Rankin on her toes, but it has seemingly taken a deflection out for a corner kick.
It's time Van Egmond to take the in-swinger from the right-hand side. But the short option, not too far away in Rankin.
So as the game approaches the hour mark, it's Emily Van Egmond with the corner. And a good solid header coming from Cometti. Grant drops it back at the edge of the box. McNamara with a glancing header, well wide.
The redelivery from Grant into a congested area was the right decision. Good numbers forward. Players lining up on the edge of the 18-yard box. It was a tough one, a straight ball in behind. A little glancing header from Holly McNamara, difficult to redirect.
Wheeler steps through midfield. Johnson. One more pass. Resists the temptation to shoot. McNamara with a looping attempt. And it loops high and out. Australia starting to pepper the Argentina end, but not quite put the shots on goal.
Players couldn't quite get the ball to settle. Carly Johnson thought about the shot. Good pressure shown by the Argentina defence. Here, just hard to get the ball down on the ground. A meaningful chance away.
Torpy, Van Egmond breaks across the edge of the box. Johnson didn't want to roll left that time. Has Rankin. Heatley. And Johnson from the flank now. Impacts. Jamila Rankin. Van Egmond. Crunched in a gang tackle. And two Argentines, enough to commit a foul between them, and the protests begin.
Well, Argentina players quick to surround the referee. And after what was again some good movement on the ball shown by Australia, nice sharp footwork from Van Egmond. Crunching challenge has come in from Preininger, and both players going for the ball, but Dan Egmond absolutely upended. This is a really great spot for a free kick. Too far out, definitely within shooting range, and we've got the likes of Alana Kennedy standing over the ball. She'll fancy herself from this sort of distance.
I'll put this on the frame of goal. It will be a huge test for Chavez between the sticks. She's asking for 4 in the wall. The Matildas are trying to make one of their own here, just to interfere. Send a 3-player Australia wall right next to the 4 of Argentina. We know that this is prime shooting range for Alana Kennedy. Jamila Rankin is there as the left-footed option, but Kennedy has stepped out the runner. A big exhale. Could this be her 12th international goal? The crowd are really rising to this moment. An expectant stadium awaits Alana Kennedy's free kick. And it's over the bar. Quite the build-up, but Alana Kennedy just didn't have the menace that we've come to see from her very best.
Disappointing in the end from Kennedy. Maybe got the line right, but didn't get the kind of venom that a strike from that distance needed. Didn't get the drop or the dip. Technically, we know she's more than capable. That one just needed to get on target, needed to challenge the goalkeeper.
Still, the ball is living down at Australia's attacking end. They turn the territorial dominance into 2-0. Wheeler spins away from the Argentina midfield. The ball's glued to her feet here. Still Claire Wheeler. McNamara, and held onto by Chavez.
Well, Wheeler had a fair shout when she was pulled back on what was a dazzling run. She's been really sound tonight. Comfort on the ball, really good composure. Dances her way through 1, 2, 3 Argentinian players, and that little drag back there just slowed the run of Claire Wheeler. Ultimately, the shot ensued, but she had a measured performance tonight, really sound at the middle of the park.
Real involvement off the bench for Nunez. Canberra. Segundo shut down at the edge of the box. Wins possession back though for Argentina. Hunt to keep her feet, did so with aplomb. And now Johnson releases a pass. McNamara running from very deep. She is quick, and Chavez got it away in the nick of time. It didn't matter how much of a head start Holly McNamara spotted them, she made it awkward.
You see her speed from a standing start. Holly McNamara is frightening. Sophia Brown tried to slow her run, just a little shepherd. Tried to get in the way. They're the kind of moments that McNamara thrives in.
As the game opening up, Argentina pushing backwards to Rogerone here. Great deal of forward progress though. Australia's first 2 subs of the night. You can see at the base of your screen there, waiting in the wings. The 2 very popular substitutions as well. Amy Sayer and Michelle Heyman make their way on. Right now though, Australia looking likely to challenge for a second goal. Torby. The ball won't find its way out. Now it will, and that might prompt this double substitution. And what a special moment this is for Amy Sayer. Michelle Heyman's going to come on first for Holly McNamara, the all-time top goal scorer in the Ninja A-League. Heyman with 119 to her name. Holly Mack's wait for a first Matildas goal goes on. It's been another promising showing for the young attacker. And the other sub, Amy Sayer, returning to the Matildas for the first time since February 28, 2024. She's gone through the torn ACL, the rehab, and now in great club form at Kristianstad's, scoring in her last game against Hammarby before the international break. Welcome back to the Matildas, Amy Sayer.
A warm welcome at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne for Amy Sayer and for Michelle Heyman as she takes to the field of play. But for Sayer, a return 11 months post ACL rupture. She spoke about how she believes she's stronger, a more rounded athlete, a more complete athlete following the rehabilitation process she's had to go through for that ACL. Really, really pleasing to see Amy Sayer back on the field for the Matildas.
It's always devastating to lose a year of your career. Sayer, 23 years old now, and would have been right in line to go to the Olympics with the Matildas when injury struck last season. But she's back, cap number 12 tonight. Comes in with some really good club form under her belt as well, Grace, which is exciting to see in the Swedish Damallsvenskan. One ball here. Immediate involvement for Heyman, perhaps. Torpy. Well, it's floated in! Shock and surprise and delight for Caitlin Torpy. Almost apologetic, but the Matildas lead 2-0.
Well, it's a measured celebration as Caitlin Torpy extends the lead for the Matildas. It's an important goal. Perhaps a little unintended, but it won't matter too much. She's done really well. Chased this down, kept the ball alive. You could see she was looking for the cross. She was searching for Heyman, searching for Johnson. Found neither. Instead, found the side netting of the Argentinian goal. And if there was any pressure mounting, it's been relieved by the finish of Caitlin Torpy.
It may not have been Australia's most creative or clinical night in front of the target, but a slice of luck means it's 2-0. The two subs, Sayer and Heyman, come on. Now with Australia really able to enjoy these last 20 minutes. And Caitlin Torpy, well, puffs out the cheeks, but it's second international goal for her. And a good run in the Matildas continues. Camp number 15 tonight for the 25-year-old.
First goal came not too long ago in that second game of the series against South Korea. That one, a crucial one. Tonight, I think you could see by the look on her face, she didn't want to celebrate so much. And nonetheless, the Matildas have a much more comfortable lead.
Rankin, Heatley. Now Heyman, first involvement in the game.
Michelle Heyman does so well, receiving the ball back to goal, posts up against pressure.
Sayer moving it out to the right. Grant, a looping cross. It hits the woodwork. Argentina clear. Oh, they nearly got caught out by a cross shot in consecutive phases of play. And yet the attacking continues from Australia. Johnson, Wheeler, Claire Wheeler! Excellent save by Chavez. I'm not sure there would have been a more popular scorer in the stadium based on the game Claire Wheeler has had so far. Argentina under siege.
Well, this is the shot that just ricocheted off the top of the crossbar. And it's a chance that Claire Wheeler, it feels like she deserves one. She's had an astounding night tonight. That's a top save down to her right. Chavez pushing it out for another Matildas corner.
A hard one headed by Cometi. Argentina trying to break on the counter. They've got the entire pitch to go. They've got Claire Wheeler to contend with. A bit of grabbing and grappling, and Claire Wheeler concedes a foul.
I've really enjoyed the midfield pairing of Claire Wheeler and Winnie Heatley tonight, both such measured players, composed, and they look to plug the gaps where the other is not. They've dealt with a lot in the midfield, but Claire Wheeler super comfortable on the ball.
Montana, some run from Pereira, but not stop the ball from falling kindly for the Argentine midfielder who was advancing. Micah. Kennedy clearing from right back. Energy shown by Torpy, but not able to affect the ball. Missed the pass down to Rankin. Rankin will go back to Micah. Johnson receives the ball back to goal. Feeds it through the middle for Heyman. It's Michelle Heyman. Groans from the crowd as it rolls just wide to the right.
Oh, hasn't missed by much. And again, really clever play shown by Carly Johnson. Good strength. And just a little deft touch to release the run of Heyman was timed to perfection. Michelle Heyman dragging the shot wide just ever so slightly. But what a performance Carly Johnson has had tonight. Her first, I'm sure, of many in the green and gold.
Argentina are reaching for reinforcements. You can see two more players about to enter the game. One more phase of play before those subs go through, though. Girone straight onto the head of Heatley and now out. Australia are going to have a couple of changes of their own. Leah Davidson and Briley Henry, a couple of Melbourne City teammates, taken off the bibs and are preparing to come on. Grant. Heyman contends in the air. Does the ball fall kindly? Heyman. Now Wheeler. Heyman. Rankin. Working with Johnson. Carly Johnson shrugs a grab of the shirt. Heyman trying to drag it to her own advantage. And a bit of byplay has left an Argentine player floored inside the penalty area. It was seemingly a live ball in the gloves of Chavez, but the referee has whistled play dead here because of the discomfort of Sofia Dominguez. And her number is up. She's going to be subbed off here for Francisca Altgelt. The 19-year-old coming on for just her 5th cap. It is only cramped, that's the good news. While this is treated, you imagine that both teams might get their subs away. Milagros Martin of Newell's Old Boys, only 18 years old, on for her 14th cap. So a couple of teenage substitutes coming on here, Grace.
These are special moments for the young Argentine players. Difficult circumstances to come on at this point in the game in a heavily favoured Australian home crowd. But the youth of the Argentina women's national team sits in the hands of players, young players like this.
The other player who is being substituted is Eliana Stabile. Playing at left back, so Argentina will get their double change away. Will Australia be so fortunate at this same delay? There is Francisca Altgelt coming on, just her 5th cap from River Plate. And the treatments of the suffering Sofia Dominguez continues. Claire Wheeler is coming off for Leah Davidson. That's a like-for-like change in midfield, just a 4th cap for Davidson entering the game. former Melbourne City teammate Winona Heatley greeting her there, and Caitlin Torby coming off to a warm ovation. The second Australia goal scorer comes off, and Briley Henry, who finished the Ninja A-League season in great goal-scoring form, comes on, and you suspect that'll be like for like over on the right wing.
See this as these changes just settle in. Briley Henry, a real bundle of energy for City, and then recent Matildas appearances as well. And Leah Davidson too, important minutes, important appearances in the Matildas jersey.
So Argentina having made 4 substitutions now, a bit of a different looking team, a more youthful team than the one that started the game. You see with energy and exuberance, they are 2-0 down, and Australia can play with the comfort of the lead. Possession won by Grant. Sayer. There's a flag down for Argentina, slowly getting back up. Hopefully nothing serious, so play can continue with Claire Hunts. Heatley. Able to wheel herself onto the ball. Davidson on and chasing straight away, but Argentina can repel. Nunez. To the middle it goes. Tangle of bodies, the follow-up. Algelt, what an introduction that would have been. In the end, it wasn't quite as promising by the time it arrived at the keeper as it was off the boot.
A little bit of the scrap in the Matildas' defensive half, where they spent very little time this evening, and a rare touch as well for Tegan Micah. But 10 minutes, and they're important minutes. At the start of the game, Alana Kennedy spoke about the need for a clean sheet, a sound performance. For Tegan Micah as well, unattached at the moment, having finished up her tenure with Liverpool. She too looking to bed down this #1 spot in the Matildas side.
There's a shot on target for Argentina, so the subs coming to immediate effect. Ross Martin was important in the tussle and the build-up. Here's Heyman. Sayer should keep it in hard against the line. The flag is up. Ran out of space. Sayer protesting. Issues for Argentina. We flagged that they would be a physical team in terms of challenges and perhaps combativeness, Grace, but Australia's a very physical team in terms of how much they make you run and make you work.
Yeah, certainly you can sense the fatigue settling in to this Argentina side tonight.
See the crowd there, 43,020. The Matildas remain a massive draw card. An event item, and 43,000 fans inside Marvel Stadium. They've had 2 goals to cheer. They'd love more. And if you go back and look at the crowd when Australia played Argentina at AAMI Park in 2019, Grace, the numbers are just eye-popping. It was 8,000 last time they played. Here we are 5 years later, 43,000 for this beloved national team.
Oh, incredible scenes. Marker laid down for the second game of this series Monday night in Canberra.
Decision this time goes against Heyman. Out here competing for international goal number 30 if she can score it tonight. Grant. She's trying to run down her own little chip here and has done so. Sayer. Bumped off the ball. midfield bullocking work from Argentina. Martin pickpocketed immediately. Through came Heatley.
To be fair, it hasn't quite been the physical side I expected from Argentina. Yes, they've had moments and they've had good patches of physicality, but I did think that it'd be a much more bolshy performance, but given the Matildas have had majority of the ball and made Argentina run a lot, I think they've just really worn in fatigue to the legs.
Davidson, shallow pass. A ricochet though. The deflection through there. Nice touch off Australia. Ball was cleared by Martin. A change on the way. Agustina Vargas in line to win just her second international cap. Going to come on for the last 6 or 7 minutes, plus stoppage time. Paperwork coming in from the Australian bench as well, so their final changes in the offing perhaps. No one's walked up and taken the bib off just yet. But Argentina will action this change. Vanina Praninga is going to come on. And for just a second cap, Agustina Vargas. And as we saw, Praninga cramping a moment ago. So Argentina perhaps thinking about Monday. Through goes their change. And Australia have Tash Pryor and Courtney Nevin ready for a double sub. So some of the other potential debutants in the squad, Isabel Gomez and also the two backup goalkeepers tonight, Jada Wyman and also Morgan Aquino. They're going to be hoping Monday's their day. Sayer! Just wide to the right.
Really enjoy that move from the Matildas. And again, it's the fast ball speed, little give and go. Sayer ready to shoot on sight. She's got a quite rapid boot around to steer that shot on target. But nice move, nice touches from Leah Davidson as well.
Rankin. Hunts. Australia about to make a double defensive switch, so maintaining that clean sheet will certainly rely on a bit of immediate communication and coming up to speed with the game. The starting defence can be pretty happy with what they've shown through 85 minutes so far. Grant. Sayer. Henry chasing, not able to win the ball. Crowd getting restless. They want one more goal for the Matildas. Heyman breaking here, wins possession, and the whistle goes just in the split second. Michelle Heyman might have thought she'd done enough to win the ball.
She's done a great job since coming on. Michelle Heyman just hurrying that back line. There wasn't a great deal in this, just that dragging leg yet in the end. That will be enough, that right foot of Michelle Heyman bringing Sophia Brown to ground.
So the fans show their appreciation for Carly Johnson. She's off for Tash Pryor. Courtney Nevin has come on for Jamila Rankin. I'll tell you what, for players who started the night uncapped and with 2 caps, Carly Johnson and Jamila Rankin couldn't have made a better case.
What a performance, Carly Johnson. Even the goal aside, she was everywhere, involving herself in the play, looking for the ball, searching to receive it. And Jamila Rankin as well, stepping up in set pieces, really important delivery off the left foot, time and time again.
And so with those changes, Nevin on for cap number 32 and Pryor on for cap number 8. From the front by Grant. Heyman trying to roll both Argentine centre-backs there. Instead just turned into trouble. Nevin, first involvement in the game. Davidson. Grant to Briley Henry. Henry doubles back. Grant. Heatley. Argentina chasing shadows, even at this late stage of the night. The fresh legs for Australia, upping the tempo once again. Hunts. Briley Henry has left a bit of a mark here on a fallen opponent. Trouble for Aldana Cometi after an awkward landing.
She's looked lively since coming on. And mention as well of Claire Hunt's delivery, not too much in the challenge, but Hunt with the dial in tonight, on a few occasions finding that really delightful switch of play, stretching the field, and Hunt certainly looks comfortable at the back.
So Australia's new look defence chasing back in earnest here. Nevin, Micah, cleared. Why not ask the question with a fresh centre back and a fresh left back straight into the mix, but clean sheet remains intact. Here is Pryor. Leah Davidson. Grant, a driving long ball, and the runners go chasing. Heyman was waiting in the middle, the cut across came. Grant has stayed down in the aftermath. Argentina have possession. Well, they've coughed it up. Well played by Briley Henry. Can't quite spot up Sayer. Into the last minute of the 90. It's been quite a start-stop second half, so you never know just how many minutes you might get stoppage in a friendly. Possession given away. Heyman says thank you very much. Sends it through the right. Charlie Grant! Oh, that would have been one for the road that the fans were hoping for, but it's saved by Shovin.
Well, she's worked tirelessly tonight, Charlie Grant. And she just managed to trot herself back into an onside position. Really good vision from Heyman to release the pass. Could have had the shot herself. Grant perhaps the better position in a bit more space. Doesn't do so much as testing Chavez in goal. But just energetic. The industry of Charlie Grant up and down that right-hand side all evening has been excellent.
We've ticked into 4 additional minutes at the end of the 90. We know what a phenomenal deputy Charlotte Grant was for Ellie Carpenter in the year Carpenter spent out injured, but now performances like tonight, it's about trying to find a way that both can be accommodated in the same team. We've seen Grant move into the front 3 here, but it's a performance that's going to have tongues wagging, Grace, because she has quite a number of caps under her belt now, 34 to her name, and it's been another very impressive shot.
She always does the job asked of her, Charlie Grant. Whether it's energetic down the right.
Heyman's cross, Henry making a run, Chavez, a big fist to clear the penalty area, but Australia immediately have the ball back. Heatley, Kennedy now. Henry's going to have to wheel around onto this ball and make a contest of it and win a corner. And Australia, you can just see the subs with very limited game time, they all want to make their mark out on the pitch.
Well, assertive goalkeeping, shown a nice shift of weight again from Heyman, but off the line is Chavez, and out really well, because in was a fly-in Briley Henry to receive the cross.
So another corner to deal with. It's been a like-for-like swap for Australia. Jamila Rankin's left foot replaced with that of Courtney Nevin. Australia make it 3. Nevin, big pack of players, a series of ricochets, and clearance straight back out to the corner taker. Nevin made space for the cross, over the head of Heatley, and headed away. Sayer, Henry, half of stoppage time expired. No thoughts from Australia of letting this one peter out. They have pursued a third goal. Will they get their reward right at the end? Reverse pass, and no one on the same wavelength there as the goalkeeper collects.
I don't mind that from Courtney Nevin. The idea was right. The driving run inside, preferring the pass on the left foot. Just none of the Matildas attackers making that run across the defensive line of Argentina.
Can Argentina spoil Australia's clean sheet right at the end of the night? Kennedy gets across and defends well. Still a ball to be tussled over though, and it just never went out. Kennedy goes to ground, gets back up with the ball. Now support arrives. Grant deflected. A hopeful cross. Hunt with the first header. And a foul comes to Australia's aid as well. A little bit too overzealous in the challenge in the end. And so focus now will turn to Monday night in Canberra. With 30 seconds of this one to go. Grace, if you are watching and haven't been paying attention, on Monday, Grace will become the first former Matilda to be the lead play-by-play caller on a Matildas match. I want to wish you all the best. It's always a pleasure working with you. And I'll be watching on Monday night. Enjoy.
Thank you, Tay. Very kind words, and looking forward to the occasion in Canberra. The Matildas hopefully with another great performance against Argentina.
And after 43,000 fans have enjoyed a Matildas win here at Marvel Stadium tonight, they will turn their focus to the nation's capital and hope to continue a winning run. All smiles at full time. And the build towards the 2026 Asian Cup remains promising for Australia, especially with a new lease of life arriving with a bang in the form of Carly Johnson. It was Johnson who scored on international debut. Amy Sayer returned for the first time to the Matildas in more than a year after completing her rehab of a torn ACL. Caitlin Torpey's second goal meant that it was an Australia win on a night where a number of players who've been limited in minutes and opportunities really stood up and shone. It will be fascinating to see how many changes ahead of Canberra in just a handful of days. Argentina left to ponder a night of precious few chances. Ultimately, they were left chasing shadows against a fit and professional Australia team. A clean sheet, which will put a big smile on the face of Alana Kennedy. So, job done in Melbourne, and Australia can put a win in the bank. The full-time score, Australia 2, Argentina 0.
The Aussies celebrating victory over Argentina in the first game of this two-game friendly series in front of a great crowd here at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne. A number of quality performances from this next generation of Matildas who really put on a show against Argentina. Elise Kellon-Knight is here alongside me. KK, we can see the smile of Charlie Grant on screen then. I feel like we always see that smile. Gee whiz, that was a strong performance from her tonight.
It was a great performance all around. I think we've been really happy with the way the girls played, and then also the result at the end of the night. I think the best part was one of the kids actually predicted the scoreline in the pre-game. Said it was going to be 2-0. How good was that?
We saw those substitutions made in the second half and a couple of really great storylines there. An opportunity for Briley Henry, for Leah Davidson, but also so good to see Amy Sayer back from that ACL injury. You know how tough that is to make the comeback from, and that's a really special moment for her.
It's a massive confidence booster, and she looks sharp out there. I mean, when you come back, you're usually a little bit timid, you don't want to go into challenges, you're kind of maybe playing at 80-90%, but she looked ready to go and she looked sharp as well, so I was really impressed.
What about that man there, Tommy Samani, his 150th game in charge of this Matildas side, his third stint at the helm. We suspect he's only got a game or so to go, but he has been so influential in terms of rebuilding the confidence and I think bringing the joy back to this squad.
Exactly. When you play under Tom, you remember why you play football.